Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Breaking Up of Burnout podcast. Your host here, Tiffany Leader. I am so excited today because this is a friend of mine that I've met here in Springfield. She actually hosted a networking group I went to for a while, and I just really connected with her. I love what she's doing. I love how she's showing up as a mom and as a person. So I cannot wait to introduce you to her and just you hear from her awesomeness. So everybody, welcome Sydney to the podcast.
Thank you. Oh, goodness. Thank you so much for those nice words. And it honestly, the networking group feels kind of like a fever dream. It feels like it was yesterday. It's so long ago. And that's one thing that I do miss is being in community with all those wonderful women, people like you, and just, getting to hang
Yeah.
out for, just once a month and carve that time out. But I have other duties right now, so someday we'll get back to the networking realm, but for now I'm full-time
Yes.
momming and business owning. So,
Yeah. No, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. I was gonna say, tell us yes, you're a full-time mom. We have your little one with us on the screen today.
yes.
But tell us how you are navigating mom life and business.
So, first of all, being a mom is a full-time plus job, and then obviously owning a
Yes.
business is a full-time job too. And so, honestly, the biggest thing that I have had to do is lean on my team because I truly have no other choice. And for someone who likes to be in control of things, it's probably the best thing that I could have ever done because it has forced me to trust people in areas that were previously really hard for me to trust them in. And I'm really
Yeah.
lucky to have a really amazing, fantastic team. The beautiful thing about letting go and trusting people is that opportunities come with that. And so we've had some really great opportunities come up in the last, I mean, she's 6 months old. So in the last 6 months, because
Mhm.
let go of things that would not have happened, things that I couldn't have done on my own, because this is my
Yeah.
top priority at this moment.
Yeah, yeah. What was it like? Because I think a lot of our listeners, because we're talking about breaking up burnout, thought we have a hard time letting go of control or letting go of what things could look like. So tell us, go back to that moment where you were like, I've got to let go of this.
Well, it's kind of a long story, so I'll try to keep it short. But I actually had
Sure.
a full-time employee who left me at 2 weeks postpartum. So at 2 weeks
Oh my goodness.
postpartum, I am working 60 hours a week, losing sleep, not because of my newborn, but because this employee left me. Luckily,
Yeah.
I had there were a lot of things going on behind the scenes, and I had actually interviewed to hire someone at 38 weeks pregnant. So brought her onto the team a little bit quicker than we had originally intended. And, you know, whenever I was spending all that time, doing all these things for my clients, which I love to do, but also literally postpartum and trying to figure out breastfeeding again and, stuck in the rocking chair. There was just so much of this is so not sustainable. I cannot do this. And it is taking so much of the joy away from this experience. I had a much different birth experience this time around, and it was
Mhm.
better than the first time. And
Mhm.
so to be
Yeah.
this immediately postpartum was distressing.
Mhm.
And so being able to find a good person on the team and immediately just have her take over everything. I mean, I was sending training videos, Loom videos, training her in the dark in my rocking chair
Mhm.
in my nightgown. But
Yeah.
we made it work. And now whenever we get a new project, I have to really reflect and ask myself, is this something that I need to do? Or is this something that I can trust them to do because I have trained them well? I have trained them
Mm.
to do these things.
Yeah.
So that's something I default to myself. I'm like, oh, it's a new project. I have to take it on. But that is not true. We actually
Mhm.
just signed a new client. And for the first time in my life, we're a marketing agency. So we run a full marketing strategy. It's like a 30-page document. For the first time in my life,
Yeah.
I won't have a single piece of the strategy that I'm doing myself. Instead, my 3 team members
Nice.
are taking care of the strategy and I'm just the reviewer. So that is a
Mhm.
really big step for me And he definitely, that's a really big
Holly.
me.
Oh.
And I was really
Yeah.
proud of myself. I told my husband when he came home from work,
Mhm.
I'm like, guess what I did? And he was like, wow, that's actually a big deal. So just learning that you have to trust people if you want to scale and continue to grow. It's
Mhm.
yeah, we do social media. So like we take social media
Yeah.
off plates so that they have more room to focus on what they love. I'm letting my team
Mhm.
take things off my plate so I can focus on the things that only I can do, which are that high level
Mhm.
strategy, serving our clients, and being a really good mom to my two girls.
Yeah, I love that. I love that you're very clear and what your role is so that you can delegate to your team, that you are training them, you are giving them the tools that they need, and you're very clear on your role. Because I think sometimes depending on your role, and what your role is, especially as a business owner, sometimes that gets muddled because you want to help out or you want to be able to make sure that your team is okay. But with you, it sounds like you got very clear very quickly, kind of like I have to
I had no
type thing
choice.
in order. Yeah, yeah, in order to say, okay, this is not going to work unless we have this in place.
And those really defined roles actually allow me to support my team better because it's not my job
Yeah.
to create the content anymore, right? But if something is happening, well, then I have the space to jump in and help them. So it gives them the
Yeah.
opportunity to do their job right and do it well. And it also gives me the opportunity to support them if something does come up. I had my team member, she was just having a really hard week. And she was like, I have these two things due tomorrow and I'm really struggling. Is there any way that we can move them
Hmm.
to Monday? First of all, absolutely.
Hmm.
Second of all, how can I
Yeah.
help alleviate some of the stress for you? And that's not something that could be done if I had so much on my plate. But because I have less on my
Yeah.
plate, I'm able to support them when they're experiencing burnout so that they can come back
Hmm.
on Monday feeling refreshed and like they can handle it instead of dreading their alarm clock.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I love that. I love that you're also creating a culture of support because I think that's so needed in any business is that when we can support our team well while supporting ourselves, then that sense of belonging, that sense of community, that sense of connection in an organization helps alleviate burnout.
It's a culture that spills over, not only in your
Hmm.
team, but also to your clients. Because if I'm not showing, if I'm not putting in practice that my team, we are a people first business, it's like literally our first value is that we are people first. And,
Yeah.
we do marketing, nothing's off fire, right? So
Mhm.
putting people first also shows our clients that like, we're not just at your beck and call. Like we're a partner. Like we are not someone that you can boss around. We are strategically interwoven into the marketing of your business so that we can help our people, but also your people as well. So it has a big spillover effect, I think.
Yeah, yeah. So how do you feel like that's allows you to stand out from other social media marketing companies?
Honestly, the biggest thing is that I think it allows us to have a lot of space for the actual strategy. So there are a lot of marketing companies out there, a lot of social media companies, but a lot of
Mhm.
them aren't so focused on the holistic strategy piece. So they may be more focused
Yes.
on like trending content or like, I don't know, vanity metrics like likes instead of
Right.
conversion or like actually getting
Mhm.
people to make a purchasing decision from content. So when we have these boundaries
Mhm.
with people, we are able to really hold space for the strategic piece, which is helping them meet their goals and also push back on them whenever they're like, well,
Mhm.
this is what we think. Well, respectfully, I hear you, but also we've seen this 100 times. So
Mhm.
if you just let us do our jobs, let's test it and see what happens. And if it doesn't work, then we'll pivot. So, like I said, it's a spillover effect. We try to hold good boundaries for our team and for our clients so that everyone can be happy in what they're doing. That's something that I tell them all the time. Like, I want you to want to work here because I've been at
Mhm.
jobs where I didn't feel appreciated, where I was like,
Yep.
why am I running the show? And I'm
Mm-hmm.
I'm underpaid and I'm underappreciated. And that's not a
Yeah.
culture that I want to create. You know, we
Mm-hmm. Yes.
serve mainly, well, we serve mainly women, but we also employ mainly women. And so
Mm-hmm.
women are so dynamic. We're moms and we're wives,
Mm-hmm.
and usually the
Mm-hmm.
grocery shoppers and the list makers and the keeping the house togethers. And so being able to just sit back and hold boundaries and remember that we are human beings and moms at the end of the day, I feel like is a culture thing that not only helps us stand out, but also helps us attract good people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just it's a revolution I feel that is happening. You know, we spent a lot of time under men sometimes who didn't appreciate the
Yeah.
dynamics of being a woman and
Mm-hmm.
have now these, influx of amazing business owners who are women who know what it feels like. And so they take that into consideration
Yes.
and we make adjustments so that we can be creative and happy and just the best at what we do, honestly.
Yeah, 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 yes. And I think that what you're saying is too is that when we have these boundaries and when the boundaries are clear and everybody knows their role, then we're able to be happier. We have more space. We are able to work at our best
Yeah.
because we're having these guardrails around our time, our capacity, and what's priority in our lives.
Yeah, exactly. And, if I've been burnout. I mean, this is my third year in business. So I probably spent the first, honestly, until she was born, being burnt out. It truly wasn't until this summer
Mhm.
that I was like, I have to let, I have to let it go. This is just simply not sustainable
Yeah,
anymore. And only
yeah.
good things have come from it. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. I just wanna come back to what you said earlier on that there are opportunities that you're experiencing in your business that you would not have had otherwise.
so because I couldn't do it
And I
all.
just yeah. Yeah, yeah. I just want, like, people to sit with that because sometimes when we're like, "We're gonna hire a team member," we're a little nervous about it, or we're gonna delegate, or we are gonna set boundaries around our time. People have this feeling and I know, like, moms that I've talked to have this mom guilt of, like, "My time is torn," or "How do I do my business and take care of my kids?" I'd love for you to share a little bit more about that because I feel like that's really sometimes a really big struggle, um, for moms.
It is a big struggle, and I would be lying if I said that I didn't go to bed half the week feeling, that sense of guilt. But
Mhm.
at the end of the day, I know that I'm building something that is impactful, not only for my family, but for other people as well. And it is not just, I didn't just like fall into marketing. Like that I have a long
Mhm.
history with it. And so I am a purpose driven human being, and I was put on this
Mhm.
earth to not only be a mom, but also, like, show love, and this marketing is how I show love and how I give back to people,
Yeah.
because the businesses we
Mhm.
this are very high impact. Like businesses
Mhm.
like yours, we have lots of
Yeah.
health wellness businesses that we work with and just lots of
Mhm.
people who they are purpose driven, and so I just try to go back to that at the end of the day. Like, I am doing something that is worthwhile. Like, I'm not just wasting my time. And not that there's anything
Yeah.
wrong with a 9 to 5. My husband has a 9 to 5. Well, kind of. He's a loan
Sure.
officer. So it's really all the time. But, he works in an
Yeah.
office and there's nothing wrong with that.
Sure.
But
Mhm.
I have the privilege and the opportunity to do something different. So even if it's a little chaotic at times, still worth it.
Mhm.
And I will say that time after the kids go to bed, usually between 8:30 and midnight, that is I mean, you have
Mhm.
never seen someone be so efficient, in 2.5 to 4 hours because sometimes that's all you have is those nighttime hours.
Mhm.
The in
Yeah.
between babies are unpredictable. Sometimes she'll give me a 2-hour nap, sometimes it's 30 minutes. So, we do what we
Mhm.
can, but efficiency is something that you learn very quickly because
Mm.
you have no choice but to be extremely efficient and
Mhm.
prioritize the things that are truly important and the things that only you can do. So again, like, is this
Yeah.
something that I need to be doing? Or is it something I want to do because I want the control over it? Most of the time,
Oh, yeah. That's
one,
a good
you
one.
know? So, like, do I need to be the ideator and creator of this, or can I help with the concept and give it to my team and they execute it? And the answer is overwhelmingly yes, most of the time.
Yeah. 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 That's awesome. I know. I love that. I love, again, it's just really defining and getting clear on your role. And I think giving yourself permission to put your girls as a priority.
Yeah.
I
I
think so
mean,
often it's like one or the other, or we get caught in the mentality. I'm either like fully there for my kids or I'm fully there for my business. But the reality is you can do both. You can
you,
have both.
you can have both. And, my husband has a flexible job, thankfully, so he can be at a lot of things, but there are things he can't be at, like, a 4 p.m.
Yeah.
swim practice or a 4:30 soccer practice or a doctor's appointment in the middle of the day. And that is also the reason why I have a business, because those are things that I just simply refuse to miss, like it's not
Mhm.
an optional.
Yes.
It's not an option. And so being able to
Mhm.
have the flexibility, even if it means I have to stay up, even if it means I need an extra shot of coffee, during the day, still worth it
Yeah.
overwhelmingly because I do get to do both. And that doesn't mean it's not hard, because it is hard, but it also is worth
Mhm.
it. And something that I say to myself a lot is, first of all, nothing good in life is easy. Nothing. Nothing good in life comes easy. And also,
Yes.
if we're going through a rough patch in life with our kids, in business, in marriage, what is the good that's going to come out of this? Because every hard situation, you learn something about yourself, about your people, about your kids. And so we
Mhm.
don't stay in the negative. We just, we're a very,
Mhm.
very like faithful household. I spend half of my day praying, asking God,
Mhm.
what am I
Mhm.
next?
Yeah.
And so being able to have that positive light and say, this is really freaking hard. I know I'm going to get through this as
Mhm.
long as I take it day by day and step by step. And also, I know that I'm going to come out on the other side and be so much better because I went through this.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
back to your
That's
question,
so good.
it is hard. There's a lot when it comes to
Mhm.
balance life and entrepreneurship, but it is so
Mhm.
possible and it is so worth it. So worth it.
Yes. Yeah. I love it. I love that because, and that's a message for all those moms out there or to be moms out there or considering having children, that Sydney is just like a person that is showing that she's doing it well and she's taking care of herself well in the process. So it may not look the same every day, but like she said, it's like it's worth it
I saw
and
actually
it's
someone
doable.
say, sorry, I
Now
saw
go ahead.
someone say yesterday that no leader has 2 good days in a row. And I'm sure that
Oh,
as a business owner, you can attest to that. I know you
yeah.
suffer from,
Mhm.
chronic illness and, you know,
Yes.
things
Yep.
like that. And so
Mhm.
there are no 2 good days in a row. But if that means that
Mm-mm.
I can have about 4 good days a week, I'm good with that. We can make things happen
Yes.
in that time frame,
Yes.
That is progress, not
Exactly.
perfection, because it's never gonna be perfect. You just have to keep going.
Exactly. Yes, just do it. Like, I love Emily P. Freeman. She has a book and a podcast that says the title is like, Do the Next Right Thing, or it's like, No, the Next Right Thing. And I feel like that is so true to what you're saying because we can get muddled in the ups and downs and the roller coasters and rhythms of how we feel or how things are going or things that are out of our control that happen. And sometimes that we have to boil it back down. What is the next right thing
Right.
we can do for ourselves, our family, and our business?
Yeah, and one step at a time, because nothing
Yeah,
is burning down, unless you're actually
right.
better. Other than that, like, nothing
Yeah.
usually is an emergency, especially in what
Yes.
we do, like, sometimes clients think it is, and we're like, "It's social media," like, it is
Yeah.
important, it is impactful, but, like, nothing is on fire.
Mhm.
And it doesn't have to be fixed right now. It can be fixed
Yeah.
in an hour after you've taken some time to collect yourself or snuggle with your baby or go outside and touch the grass and be like, my whole life is
Mhm.
not on this computer screen.
Yes. Yes. And I think social media we know it's designed to create this sense of urgency or connection or a really connection with the screen of staying longer. I
Yeah,
was thinking of the movie, or the documentary, The Social Dilemma, where it goes into the psychology and how they created it. It can trick us into this sense of urgency.
absolutely.
And I love that you say that it's like, it's not really that urgent. Like,
It's not.
we can figure this out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
always. Everything can always be figured out.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. Well, another question I want to ask you is, because I ask this with everybody,
Yeah.
how are you breaking up with burnout right now?
But there's a lot of pieces to that. Like I think the
Yeah.
biggest thing is being able to take a step back and be reflective so that when I am feeling very high stress and I'm like, I have the tendency to call my husband and be like, "When are you coming home? I can't handle any of this anymore." Like everything is bad,
Mhm.
nothing is okay. And then somehow, that's at 4 p.m. And then somehow it hits 9 o'clock. The kids are asleep. Everything is quiet. And I'm like, oh, I made it. Everything is okay. Like, we're okay.
Mhm.
Everything's okay. So, trying to be more intentional with reminding myself that it is okay to take a step back and take a breath
Mhm.
and like to enjoy being with my kids. That's something that helps me not get burnout in my job because
Yeah.
they are my whole life, and I do this for
Mhm.
them
Mhm.
and others, but for them and also to when my team asks how they can help me, to actually let them help me. That is I struggle
Yeah.
with so much. I hate asking for help, but that's what they're there.
Mhm.
And so just remembering that again, I do not have to be in control of every situation. I can look at it after. I can tell them what I need and then I can look at it after, but I do not have to be the one spending all the time to actually do the thing. And so that has really been a big part, as you know, like postpartum, it can be really hard mentally. I had really bad postpartum
Yeah.
anxiety and depression with my first daughter. And I
Mhm.
don't time. And I know that a large part of that is because I have delegated things and I've
Mhm.
tried to focus on that mindset of, even if it's hard, tomorrow probably won't be, And even if
Yeah.
tomorrow or
Yeah.
this day is probably going to be a lot easier. So just knowing
Yeah.
that every bad day is only 24 hours and then you get a new day and
That's
you don't have to
yeah.
in the burnout. You got to do the things to make yourself remember what life is really all about. Your family, your friends,
Yes.
loving each other, laughing, being silly and getting those dopamine hits not from Instagram, but from the things
Yes.
in
Yes.
front of you that are really real that you can touch. So,
Yes. Those things that fill your soul and light you up.
yes, exactly.
And those tangible things. And I love what you said about, like, we all, those that are listening, me, myself included, hate asking for help. But we actually need to, because part of that and part of this whole conversation is like, you were like, I got to ask for help in a big way. And I continue to learn to ask for help because that keeps burnout at bay and keeps you anchored into your priority.
And I doubt she'll listen to this, but I do have to give a shout out to my mother-in-law because she helps
Yeah.
me prevent burnout by watching my kids almost whenever I need her to,
Yeah.
even if it's
Yeah.
I've called her and been like, "Hey, I have a discovery call. Can I take it in your office while you watch Amory so that I can focus?" Or my oldest, her name is
Mhm.
Amelia. I'm like, "Hey, this came up on a Friday when she's not in school. Like, are you free?" And the answer is overwhelmingly almost always yes. So having a
Yeah.
good system, which not everyone has, is a big
Right.
help. And when my first was born, I resisted that help so hard. I was like, "I can do it. I don't need anyone. I am her mom."
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
whenever you step back and you're like, "I don't have to do this alone. I don't have to do it
Yeah.
alone. These people
Yeah.
love me. They may not do everything the way that I would do it, but that's okay because they love my
Mhm.
child, they love me, and they are doing the best that they can do." Not that that means that you let anyone disrespect your boundaries, but you don't
Right.
the
Exactly.
hover over other people who are trying to help you by loving on you. You just gotta
Yes.
you just
Yes.
go.
Yeah, I always say don't block the blessing because we love to be a blessing to other people, but
Yes,
sometimes it's hard to receive that blessing. So I'm always like, don't block
absolutely.
the blessing.
Exactly. I love that. That
Yeah.
is a great saying. Yes, you gotta. And that's the other thing. People want to help. They genuinely want
Yes. Yeah.
to help. And you are
Yeah.
being, not rude, but it's like, if someone's like, please let me bring something to Thanksgiving dinner. And you're like, no, 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 I got it.
Yeah.
Just let them bring something. They're
You let them do it.
because they care and they want to help. So let people help you because it fills their cup to give you the help that
Yeah.
you need so you can do the things that you need to do.
Exactly. I always tell like I saw this reel recently and I keep telling it to people because the person was like talking about friends and talking about receiving help. And she was like, P.S. Your friends actually like you
Yes.
and they want to help you. So
Yes.
just receive it. And
Yes.
I was
Just
like,
receive
yes,
it.
yes,
And
yeah,
it takes a lot of
yeah,
coaching sometimes and it takes reflection.
yes.
Sometimes
Mhm, mhm,
even my mother-in-law, she'll text me and be like, hey, do you want me to help you in this way? And initially, my
mhm.
first reaction is no, I got it. It's fine. So I have to put the phone
Yeah,
down and then go be overwhelmed for 30 minutes and be like, you know what, actually, I would really appreciate that if you could do that? So I think the other thing
yes,
to remember is if your initial reaction is to say no to help, just sit with it for a couple minutes and think about how
yes.
much
Take a breath.
easier it could make that situation if you just simply said yes and put the phone down and walked away. Just say yes and walk away, and you will see
Yeah.
the good that comes of it.
Oh, that's so good. Yes, I think it's just taking that moment because knee-jerk reaction, our brains and our bodies are like, no, I can do it. I'm independent. It
Exactly.
makes me weak. All these other preconceived notions. But the truth is, like you said, there's so much. Our life is so much richer, and we get an opportunity for people to access our life. I think about that with family, but also with friends. Like when we have friends to help us, they become our family. And I've had a lot of experience of leaning on friends when I've been away from family. I lived away from family, and I gave opportunity to friends to be like family to me, and we got closer because of that.
I totally know exactly what you're saying. Not with friends,
Mhm.
but, with my in-laws and my first baby, I kept
Yeah,
them in an
yeah.
arm's length because I just simply could not let anybody in because of, trauma and all the other things. But when I let
Right.
them in, and I was actually thinking about this the other day when I left their house and how different I feel around them because I
Mhm.
let them in, because I let them help. I have grown closer to them. We have grown closer because we're able to appreciate each other more. I mean, the other day I was putting Amory to sleep in their spare room, and I came out because I had to leave, and she had filled up my 64-ounce water bottle for me. Like that
Yeah.
is
Mhm.
such a small thing that I will never forget her taking care of me in
Yeah,
that, but only because I
yeah,
let her. You gotta let them.
yes,
You gotta let people help you so that you can
yeah,
take care of yourself.
yeah, 1000%. And the reality is, like, I think we grew up in the "we're independent, we got it, we
Yeah.
can do this" type of mentality, but the reality is we need people.
We
We need
absolutely you need
people.
a village, whether it is
Yeah,
family or your team at work or your
yes,
friend
mhm,
or, the family that you create. Like,
yes.
if, my daughter, she will bring me sandwiches in the rocking chair or beef stick or cheese sticks, those first
Yeah,
couple months postpartum when, there's like 10 naps a day and you literally feel like you're stuck in
yeah.
there all day. She would literally say, Mommy, are you hungry? I'm going to bring you something. Like even
Mm,
letting, something like that. I could have said, oh no, baby, like it's fine. And that would have crushed
mhm,
her. Like she
right,
wanted help take care of me because she loves me. And so,
yeah,
again, people want to help. They want to take care of you because they love you and you deserve the love. And even if you can't see that for
yes.
yourself, everyone else around you usually can.
Can see it, yes, and if you can just take one step in that direction, like Sydney said, just say yes to
Just
help,
need
it gets easier
yes.
as we flex that muscle and keep saying yes and keep saying yes and seeing how you feel and how they feel. in the
It is a
process.
muscle, 100%. That is such a good description of it because once you do it the first time, it's easier the second time. And it gets easier and it gets easier and it gets easier. And then you're able to grow that muscle and ask for bigger things whenever you need it. And it
Yes.
doesn't feel like you're burdening other people because you know that
Yes.
they are willing and happy to do it for
Yes.
you.
Yes. I love it. I love it so much. Sydney, it was so great having you here. I love
Aw,
this conversation.
it was so nice to chat with you. What a good little
Yeah.
reflection for the end of the week. I feel like,
Yes.
I don't know when you're gonna post this, but I feel like
Yeah.
hopefully for me and for you, I can go into this weekend with a little bit more reflection. And,
Yes.
sometimes you keep all these things inside your brain, but when you say it out loud, words are power. And so speaking
Yes.
over to yourself and reminding you that everything's okay, no matter what, everything's gonna
Yeah.
be good.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. Yes. For those listeners out there, that is your word of encouragement for today. Everything's going to be okay. No
always,
matter where you
no
find
matter what.
yourself in this season of life.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you, Sydney, for being here. Loved having you.
It was so nice to chat with you.
Yes, you too. Yes. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye,
Okay.
everybody. Thank you for listening to the Breaking Up with Burnout podcast. And we'll see you next time.